Hello children. So, moving towards the last part of the chapter, sustainable development. Students, development is really good, isn't it? Everything going upscale, everything getting better is really good. But we cannot harm nature, as in development not at the cost of nature. So here comes the concept of sustainable development. What it says, the development which meets the need of present generation without compromising the needs of future generation to meet its own needs. There is yet another definition also which says that every man or every generation born should get as free and unpolluted air, water as the previous generation received. As in, we can definitely develop, we can definitely have more industries, more development, better facilities, but we cannot harm nature. It should not be at the cost of degradation of nature. It should not be at the cost of the upcoming generation's requirement. So, what strategies can be there that can help us achieve this goal of sustainable development, and how much work in that direction is done so far? So what steps are taken for sustainable development is what we have to learn. The strategies, the first one is renewable energy resources should be used more, whereas non-renewable resources should be used judiciously. Here the strategy does not say stop using coal and petrol, but it should be used very carefully, only as per the need. Whereas the free resources, whereas the resources that can be renewed should be used instead of this non-renewable ones. Same way, industrial location should be such that requires lesser transport. Whenever it is going to be a gap between the manufacturer or with the place of origin and of the end user, more the gap, more the transportation, more the pollution for no reason. See, manufacturing something requires some pollution to be emitted is accepted because the product is getting manufactured. But making it reach till consumer emits more of pollution than making it because of the transport. So for that, what can be done? A simple thing, manufacture it but make it in the area where you get your consumers quite nearer. And so we see that many food factories, they are located, they are having multiple branches and they are located in different regions of India, east, west, north, south, central India, like that, to avoid this trend. It is actually costly to the company also, but it is more costly to the nature. Resources should be used for multiple purposes, for so many purposes. One resource can be used, can be utilized in multiple ways. Say for example, solar energy. Solar energy, we already know it's a non-conventional source of energy. You can use solar energy to heat water, you can make electricity with the help of photovoltaic technology, you can make food using solar cookers, the solar panel can help producing electricity. So there are so many ways in which the resources can be used. Natural resources should not be wasted. Because the resource is free, it's actually not free. For example, water. We do not pay heavily for receiving water. It's our government that incurs huge expenditure in constructing dams and making water available. But that does not mean that we use the way we want to. We can afford it, nature cannot. Because the waste of that water, the waste management and the end trash is huge liability, huge burden on nature. Stress should be laid on use of non-conventional source of energy. The resources like wind, air, running water can be utilized if we try to work upon that direction. And that will lead us to development, but it will not harm nature. So it's a pure way, it's a direct way to make the sustainable development concept into practice. Now, these are the ways in which we can achieve what we did so far to achieve, what steps have been taken. So before taking any steps, it is important that everybody accepts the fact that we, in wake of development, we cannot ruin nature. So there was a meeting held in 1972 at Stockholm in Sweden to take steps for sustainable development practice. The name is Earth Conference. Every country's member nations participated, and everybody accepted the fact that if one country is not having sustainable practices in development, other countries too will affect. Say for example, if India is polluting, then the ill consequences of that will be suffered by all our neighbors. It could be Pakistan, it could be Bangladesh, it could be China, it could be Nepal, it could be Sri Lanka. So every country unanimously has to practice sustainable development. It's only then that all this really will make sense. The second one is Central and State Pollution Board has been set up to control pollution. So unless and until any law is not enforced, it's very tough, or it is rather impractical to expect from every person practicing sustainability. So this central board and state board makes sure that each corner of the country and the state and each industry practices the pollution level controls. The third one is, in order to promote, in order to spread it, maybe to convince the next generation, that is you people, 5th June has been declared as the Environment Day to spread the awareness that environment is important, nature is important. It is not less important than development. It is equally important, or maybe it is even more important. Otherwise, the human race will have to pay for it. Air Pollution Control Act has been enacted in 1981. Children, you need to be specifically remembering these days: 5th June, 1981 year, Central and State Pollution Board, 1972 at Stockholm. These are important from your objective viewpoint as well. So Air Pollution Board decides the parameters that which industry can pollute how much. Now this is a fact to be accepted, that no industry can go with zero pollution. Does not mean any industry can be allowed to pollute how much ever they want. That is also not allowed. So they set parameters of pollution. An international agreement for nuclear waste disposal and biodiversity sustenance has been signed. So every country's responsibility it is, and that's why they signed the treaties. They collaborate with each other, and everybody tries to do things that can be more helpful. And children, conservation is everybody's responsibility. It's not a single country or a single state taking initiative can help. And that's why you're studying in your board years. That's why you're studying at an age where you start understanding things, and it gets deep rooted into your mind, into your thought process, that whatever we do, we have first to take care of nature. So that's how sustainable development goes. I hope I was clear enough to explain you, and if you have any doubts, you can mention us in comment section. Students, see you with the next chapter in the next video. Bye bye.